1.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dan and David. A very frustrating defeat in the end, especially because I don't know about you out there. I felt like Arsenal had quite a lot of chances in that game. Yes, the balance of play, Liverpool probably deserved the win, but we had a few chances. One at the end there where Aubameyang was racing through, could have picked the right pass, and you never know. But frustratingly, we go down 3-1 against Liverpool in the Premier League. Adrian Clarke is with me to discuss what we've seen in the match this evening. We're going to see a tweet first, I think, before we get your initial thoughts, Adrian. And then once we've seen this, I guess we can pick the bones out of it, as Dan just said. But the one and only says likes Ceballos, better speed of pass, showed some pride, less exposed defensively. Dislikes our forward line, our attempts to pass out from the back. Right, your thoughts, Adrian, and what you agree with, maybe agree with about that tweet.
I think it's a really interesting tweet, for sure. Danny Ceballos made a difference when he came on. He opened the defence up with 2 defence splitting passes, at least maybe 3. He just added that little bit of quality on the ball. And we said at half time that it might be the right moment for him to enter the fray. We needed a bit more control in midfield, certainly needed someone to spot that pass, because they had such a high line, didn't they, Liverpool? It was asking for trouble. In the first half, we only really got Maitland-Niles in. Second half, it was Lacazette, wasn't it, down the spine of the field. And look, even though we were really under pressure tonight, up against a brilliant Liverpool team, and there's no shame in being under pressure against Liverpool. But look, we could easily have scored 2 or 3 goals there. And so for me, tactically, the second half was good. The first half, not so good. Too passive, in my opinion, up until half time.
Yeah, I think Alex Lacazette will be hugely disappointed with, missing a couple of chances that you'd expect a striker of his quality to put away, right?
You would, yeah. I think Alexandre Lacazette will know that he should or could easily have had a hat-trick here tonight. I think good goalkeeping, first and foremost. Adrian stood up, made himself big for both those chances. But look, strikers live for those one-on-one opportunities. He was picked out brilliantly. He had time to weigh up what to do. And the goalkeeper outfoxed him on both occasions, didn't he? So yeah, he'll be absolutely choked tonight. I think on the XG, it was they were all 3 chances. The one he tucked away was the best chance he had. The other 2 were equally as good. He had about a 40% chance, 39, 37% chance of scoring both. And I think that's a little bit generous actually on the XG ratio, because I'd back Lacazette 9 times out of 10 to finish those.
Well, let's not talk too much about XG, because we'll be getting into that in a little bit more detail in a bit. Unfortunately for me, I feel anyway. Right, what we've been doing since we started the Breakdown Live is discussing 3 things that we have learned from each of our performances. And I think we should look at the first thing that we've learned from this performance this evening. Number 1, we're a much better side when we are assertive. And this is something, of course, that you've been picking up on. Boyce says, ultimately, Arsenal may very well lose to Liverpool today, a vastly better team, but the second half has brightened my spirits immensely. We are actually playing some football and giving them a match at leaps and bounds better than this fixture last year. Albinio, who everybody knows and loves, Liverpool playing such a high line. We're missing a trick by not playing the ball over the top for a runner, which, Adrian has already mentioned. And Andrew P saying, I can't see the benefits of playing out from the back the way Arsenal are doing it tonight. Inviting pressure, 3 passes in the box and then fire it long and lose it. So Adrian, what do you make of that?
Yeah, look, it's interesting viewpoints. I think going to the original slide, are Arsenal a better side when they're assertive? Yes. Look, you can be defensive and set yourself up with a good structure, but still be assertive. And that means getting tight to your men and squeezing up and being aggressive all over the pitch, looking to pinch the ball and then to break. And that's what we did against Liverpool in the Community Shield. That's what we did in the Cup semi-final. That's what we did in the Cup final. And in the first half, we didn't. We did it for 10 minutes, and then we got deeper and deeper. We didn't touch Liverpool. Second half, we squeezed up a little bit, took risks because you're going to leave a higher line yourself if you do that. But it paid off, and we got ourselves into the Liverpool half more often. And as a consequence, from those turnovers that we earned, we had our best chances. So, yes, we need to be assertive. As for the playing out from the back, loads of people are complaining about it tonight, and I get it. I totally get it. And it looks terrible at times when you're asking for trouble. But we created our goal from knocking the ball around inside our own box. We've done it loads of times already this summer, the same way. The players stuck to it. They stuck to the courage of convictions, and actually, neither goal that Liverpool scored came from that, did it? So ultimately, even though it sort of puts the wind up us, it didn't. That's not the reason we lost tonight. It's actually one of the reasons why we scored a goal.
Yeah, I guess it's just frustrating for people when I think one of those tweets mentioned the Dani Ceballos. As soon as he came on, he was playing longer balls over the top, and I think fans just wanted to see a little bit more of that.
But you've got to draw them in. You've got to draw them in. It's no good giving it to Leno. If Leno starts playing longer balls, Liverpool can see those coming all day long, and no one gets in behind anyone. So what you've got to do, you've got to suck them on. You've got to draw them up, get Liverpool squeezed up enough. And you have to do that sometimes by playing out from the back to then leave the space in behind for those passes. So you can't just go long ball and think, well, that's the answer. You have to take the odd risk and draw Liverpool onto you to create the space. It's the same in any game that you play. And that is the tactic. And for me, Arsenal did it much better in the second half, even though there were some really hairy moments.
And there is no more dangerous side to draw onto you, though, than Liverpool.
Sure.
It's very, very scary at times. Right, let's have a look at the second thing that we've learned from tonight's performance then, and it is this. Gaining midfield control in big matches is still a work in progress. The midfield, of course, has been a talking point from many people online. Lacazette says, truth is that Arsenal's defence isn't as bad as we feel. The problem is we do not have a midfield to control a game and reduce the amount of time the ball goes to the back. And Gunnar Thoughts says Ceballos wriggling his way in the midfield to slip people through with line-breaking balls. Yeah, it was picked up. Danny showing his class, got to make his move permanent. That one's from Paul. So lots of love for Dani Ceballos online tonight.
Oh, he made a difference, no doubt about it. He did break the lines. He can take players on. He can see those passes, and he looked sharp. And yeah, but look, I didn't have an issue with El Neni starting in place of him. It was a cautious move. I kind of got it. But when you looked at the game, it was like, from early on, you thought, could do with Ceballos here, someone to put their foot on it and to look up and play those forward passes. And in the second half, it did work. From the hour mark when he came on, Arsenal improved massively. In terms of the control issue, we know it. We know that in the engine room, it's not our forte at the moment. It's not our strength. Look, Xhaka's a good player. Ceballos is a good player. Neni's decent. But that at the moment, that's all we've really got available. We need more options, and that we need someone that can get around the pitch and be a real good shield for the defence. And we need someone to pinch the ball, someone that can buzz around that midfield with good athleticism, steal the ball, and then make those line-breaking passes. So, look, Ceballos can do that to a degree, but we probably need another one, someone else, because there's too much onus on him at the moment. So, look, we'll have to wait and see what happens with the transfer window. But, yeah, in midfield, we can't control big matches the way that we would like to. I think we need a couple more quality additions.
Yeah. Just before we move on to the third thing that we've learned from tonight's performance, I know you wanted to touch on Hector Bellerin and, his performance this evening, Adrian.
Well, I did. I thought second half anyway, he was more proactive. He got forward. We saw one or two surging runs from him. He listened to the manager and obviously echoed what I'd said, because in the first half, he didn't get past the halfway line. Look, Arsenal were a better side for that. A lot of people online, I noticed, were critical of Hector's positioning, and I get that because for the goal, the Robertson goal, and one or two of the chances they had, the Jota one, not the Jota goal, but the one that he should have scored.
Yeah.
Now, all I have to do is defend Hector a little bit here. He's being asked to do very different things that the fullbacks don't usually do. He's having to follow people in field. He's going practically man-to-man on Mane at times. He's following people in field. And that means you need a bit of protection, either from your centre-back or from the wide player that's playing ahead of you. And that was the issue today. And I just think he hasn't quite nailed it. Ainsley Maitland-Niles had a bit more experience and is maybe better equipped at sort of flitting between those roles, being inside and then dropping back. I don't think Hector has quite nailed it yet. And that is the reason that he was out of position today. But for me, a lot of the time, he was just following the manager's instructions, getting tight to the Liverpool attack at Anfield.
Yeah, and we all know, based on, if you watch the games or listen to the games without the fake crowd noise, just how demanding Mikel Arteta can be. So, hopefully Hector Bellerin will have a better game next time round. Let's have a look at the third thing that we've learned from tonight's performance, the third and final thing that we've learned, and it's this: the Liverpool press is the blueprint we should be aiming for. Yeah, I mean, it was an unbelievable, effort from them. Luiz here saying Liverpool make playing out from the back look so easy. Arsenal are showing just how hard it is to play out from the back. The Liverpool press is a thing of beauty. I mean, unbelievable, Adrian. The players must be so fit to play like that as well.
Look, they won the ball inside the opposition, inside the final third, rather, more times than any other team last season. And that's not by fluke. It's because they're organised and they really squeeze the life out of you. Every player knows exactly what they're doing. And Arsenal will get there. I'm confident of that under Mikel Arteta. But tonight, we were playing against a better team. We were playing against a team that frightened us a little bit. So we backed off of our press tonight. They didn't. And they made life very, very hard for us. And look, I think on some occasions we were fortunate to get away with it because they very nearly nicked the ball in some brilliant areas. Holding didn't look as comfortable tonight. David Luiz was a bit ruffled as well at times. Our passing from the back three wasn't as good, but that is basically down to Liverpool squeezing up in unison. And that's something that we will aim for. Lots of areas of our team are a work in progress. Liverpool are better than Arsenal in every part of the game at the moment. They're champions. They won the league by a million miles last year for a reason. We've got a long way to go, and we're getting there in certain aspects. Certainly on transitions and counters, we're getting there. But in terms of the press, Liverpool, if we can emulate Liverpool's success over the next 18 months, we'll score a lot more goals. Let me tell you.
Yeah, and that, is music to a lot of Arsenal fans' ears. And also, you need to look at it like, Jurgen Klopp is further down the road in the project at Liverpool than, Mikel Arteta is at Arsenal.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't do it all at once. And we've worked hard on playing out from the back, and we are miles better at it. And it didn't always show tonight. We are miles better at it than we were. And we've worked on our tactical structure, our rotational movement, and it's so much better. And this was a better performance at Anfield than it has been of late. Yes, they outshot us, I think 21-4, something like that. That looks bad on paper, but I still felt that we were more secure tonight than we have been in previous meetings. You can't rebuild Rome in a day. You need time, and the press will come, as will the creativity. But I do feel that we still need better personnel. We've got a good squad, but it's not a perfect squad. It's certainly got a flaw in terms of creativity, and there is a hole in the middle of the park that needs beefing up. It's as simple as that.
Well, hopefully, as we say each and every time here on the Breakdown Live, hopefully there will be some new additions. Again, we have no idea. We are just like you, hoping for those Twitter announcements to pop up. Right, I guess we've got to wrap things up with the results of a question of stats. Now, the question was, what is the total XG for Arsenal going to be at full time, essentially? I don't know if Dan Roebuck is still with us or not. Dan, are you there? No, I'm going to say he's not there. Maybe he's gone for a drink after.
No, I am here.
He's here.
Yeah, no, I am.
I thought you'd gone for a drink after.
No. I mean, what was the XG in the end?
Yeah, well, this is it. Who's got the actual stat? Because I don't.
Well, I've not got it. I know I went for 0.9.
I went for 0.6.
And I'm almost convinced that Lacaz's chances must have been about 0.5 each.
Hey, Adrian, what did you go for again?
Well, I went for 1.01, and I definitely won. Yeah, it was 1.26.
Thanks for that, Adrian.
But it was really thanks to those chances with Lacazette being put through 1-1, wasn't it? Because up until then, I think we were point.
Do we know the individual? Do we know the individual?
Yeah, it was the goal was about 0.4 for Lacazette. Okay. And the two chances that he had that followed, one was 0.39, I think. One was 0.37. So they were all big chances. He took one away, missed two. Yeah. So it was.
And I don't think there was anything else, was there?
There was nothing else. No. It wasn't a creative display. We know that we were under all sorts of pressure. But look, on another day, Lacazette could have walked away with a hat trick, and we scrape a 3-3 draw. And everyone says, "Weren't we efficient? Weren't we brilliant on those transitions?" It is fine margins. I thought the second half was a big step up, boys. And, it comes down to attitude. It comes down to being assertive, being aggressive.
Arsenal stayed in the game.
Yeah.
And how many times have we, looked back on a game at Anfield over the last few years, and it's completely got away from us?
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's no point. Ainsley's first ever goal for Arsenal was against Liverpool, and Liverpool came back to win. Was it 5-1 or whatever the scoreline was then? And okay, Lacazette scores early. Liverpool come back, but we're in the game at the second half. And we can see what happens in the Premier League. Look what happened to Tottenham yesterday. They had chance after chance after chance against Newcastle. And okay, it's a bizarre way they get the penalty. But in the end, they drop points. Yes, Liverpool deserved to win. No doubt about that. However, I think we can be proud. And Mikel Arteta, I'm almost certain, will point to the fact that, yes, we're not Liverpool's level, but we're getting there.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that assessment. But I think the most important thing to take from this is that Adrian Clarke is absolutely whipping us on question of stats.
Listen, it's a marathon.
It's a long old season. It's a long
38 games of the season, mate.
And it's a long old season for Arsenal as well. I know that the fans will be disappointed tonight and they'll be thinking, we're miles away. We are a long way behind Liverpool. But you've seen other rivals of ours for top four look a lot worse than us in certain periods early on this season. It's on for us to finish top four if we continue to learn from games like this and to improve. And we will learn from this game, I'm sure of it.
Yeah. Right, Dan, Adrian, thank you very much for your company this evening. Of course, thank you very much for watching the Breakdown live. Do not forget, we are back at Anfield on Thursday for our Carabao Cup game, which I'm sure will be a vastly different lineup for both teams. And hopefully it will be a different result as well. I'm hoping that we can get out of that one with the W. That'll be very, very nice indeed. Make sure you join us on arsenal.com. Log on around 7:15-ish because it's a 7:45 kickoff, and we'll see you then. Take care.